Now, talking about serving abroad, where was that? Where you were in England?
What about 90 miles north of London, at close to Norwich, at a little town called Seething, England. That's where the air base was.
Well, here, let me show you something here. You had mentioned something to me on the phone about that.
The Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I was right there one time, and another time I was back here, clear back, and we coming across in December. So it was about the 25th, I guess it was. It's Christmas Day anyway. That we had a storm, and that propeller would come clear out of the water, and we did whir.
So how long did it take you to take the Queen Elizabeth over to England?
Well, going over, it took us about 5 days or so. We had about 18,000 on that boat, and coming back it's about 800 or so. Batch cases and everything else, and we went straight across because they got rid of the U-boats usually. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we got caught in a storm, and it delayed us over a day because of the storm.
Did you have to worry about U-boats on the way over?
Yeah, every 4 or 5 minutes they zigzag. 41 miles an hour, so they didn't worry too much about the U-boats.
Did you get sick doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it didn't bother me because I was used to flying.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it didn't bother me a bit. And some of them are just heaving their guts out.
So just a boat full of hundreds of soldiers just getting sick, huh?
And we took 2 meals a day. If you ate breakfast, you got in line. Then you got, if you wanted to eat supper, you got in the stayed in line. So we ate candy bars and didn't eat for about 5 days.
Did they have any sort of like entertainment or things for y'all to do, or you just kind of sitting there?
Not going over, they didn't know.
No. On the way back, was it different?
No, they taking care of the basket cases.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So you took the Queen Elizabeth over, you landed?
I took it over and came back on the same boat.
So when you docked there in the UK and England, what did you headed to the, like you said, the airfield there?
Belfast, England. Belfast, where it docked, I think.
When you got to your the airfield there, what did you guys? How'd you live there? What was that like?
Well, when we landed in England on D-Day. And we made our first mission about 30 days later. But first we went to Ireland for a week or two before we got down in England. And it took us 30 days before we made the first mission. We made two. I think we made 2 missions the first day on bombing ahead of the troops at St. Lo.
Oh, I see. So that was that. What was that part of a special operation then? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you train for that? Did you do all that training for that at stateside, or did you do a lot of that?
In Muroc, California, out in the desert, we did. And we learned everything, how to do everything, I guess.
I had watched some training videos, some historical ones, and they had showed up. And I might have been out there. It was the 50 cals, and they had like train cars, maybe something set up. Did you train something like that, or how did you guys do? How'd you get used to the movement of tracking targets?
Well, done that at Laredo, Texas, in the trainers. they had tow targets, and you shot at the tow targets, and usually 1860s was what we flew into to shoot at the targets.
Okay. Did you do that sort of training when you got to the England?
No,
there was no fun because it was all active.
Yeah,
live.
It was all active flying. You had to learn how to put your gun in blindfolded though, and field strip it.
What was the thought behind that?
So if you got blinders or something, you can still work. I guess.
Listen for them. Yeah. Can you explain to me like what the normal day would be like? You wake up for a mission. Did you know you're gonna have a mission every day? Were they scheduled? Was it weekly?
No, they let us know ahead of time, the night before.
Did you check a board or something, or was it just someone would come to your your barracks?
Well, like we get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We would go to briefing, and sometime we would fly, and another time we wouldn't.
Oh, so you could get briefed and not fly.
Yeah.
That happened a lot, or?
And not too much. Quite a few times though.
So what would be your ritual? You know, being military, I always had a ritual knowing even if I was trained for it, I would do things leading up to. Did you ever have any rituals like that, or you and the guys, or?
No, the only thing, over the channel we would fire our gun to see that they were working right.
And that's the way you were trained?
I knew how to do the guns, but. But
as far as getting up in the morning, eat special breakfast, nothing, things like that?
We had bacon and eggs a lot of times. And we had good food for flying, for the flyers.
Did you ever have to mentally prepare yourself for any of those flights, or just get on it and get it done?
Yep, get it done.
I had this image too. Can you tell me what that is?
That's a B-25.
B-24 there?
No, that. Oh yeah, that'd be 24. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
couldn't see the.
Oh, the extra engines there.
Yeah, that'd be 24.
Right. So where'd they put you in there?
Right there.
On the bottom, huh? So why were you sitting in that as the belly gunner, not the tail gunner? How was that decided? Just because of how you were trained?
I suppose I was the ball turret gunner. He had a gun sight that was out of this world, and if you kept you had to put pedals and what for keep your wingspan. We'll say a fighter was coming at you. You kept him in the wingspan, and you tracked him slow so that the reticle didn't disappear on you. It was accurate at 1,000 yards.
And how did you guys work together, say when you were on a mission? You said you were saying earlier that you would, as you flew over the channel, sometimes you would sleep a little bit, right? Just because of the nature of the.
Yeah, we had microphones to talk to each other.
So how would you said you were sleeping? How did you know it was safe to sleep?
Well, until you went across the channel, we were forming over England, and to get them together and all go over at one time. Then
how many would go over at a time? Would you say?
Maybe 448 bomb group might be two more bomb groups going at the same time, but.
And that was your bomb group that was in England.
The 448 was.
So you would all fly over, form up, and then head in. And you said you could, if you needed to, you could sleep a little bit, get rested.
Yeah.
And then would you hear something over the intercom when it was time to go?
Oh yeah.
Would you just wake up or?
Well, you could sleep at it. That's all I can tell you, but.
Was it basically radio chatter? Someone would something,
Yeah.
or you were heading into a certain cordon or a zone?
Oh
or
yeah,
something?
you can. We on our intercom we could talk back and forth all day long without.
What were your missions normally? What were you doing?
What were we doing? Usually bombing bridges and railroad
Yards?
rail yards, and like a ball bearing factory. There was I forget what town I was in, but anyway, and once in a while we would drop incendiary bombs, and they were bundled and about that square and about this long, and when after the bundle was it's just like stove sticks falling,
Yeah.
and it would burn a hole in a hurry if it went under somebody's roof.
Now, when you were doing those missions, you got briefed. Did you understand all that was going on, or did they
Oh, yeah.
did they always give you all the information, or was there just maybe a lack of information?
Well, like I say, the whole group went over at one time, and it was saturation bombing, as they called it. And we usually hit a rail yards, but evidently some of them had to be in residential. It couldn't saturate bombs and hit them all at the same time. No way,
Did things always go to plan?
as far as I know.
Did you ever have missions that say didn't go to plan, or thought maybe I didn't?
Well, once in a while we would have to fall out of formation on account of engine failure and whatnot. And one time we had two engines on the left side. Well, where's the picture is? These two engines on this side were gone. They're feathered, as they called it. And these two was gone. And the pilot and the co-pilot, they were pretty small for that goes, for as far as pilots are concerned. And when they landed, which 20 or 2,000 feet, started out with about 400 feet when we come across Dover. And they landed it. And when they got out there, tried to get out of the plane, their legs were so cramped they couldn't even move hardly. They kept that
Fighting it.
They kept it level and
And you were just sitting in the bottom of the plane. Were you watching the ground get closer?
well, I was up out
You
of
came
it.
up,
Dead.
okay.
Yeah.
Was that your choice, or is that normal for you at the end of a mission to come up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Just to stretch, or
After we got out of range of flak, the flak is what hurt us more than fighter planes. Fighter plane wasn't too much.
was that just there wasn't enough of them, or?
No, it 18,000 feet at the 88 millimeters, they were pretty darn accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And the 105s, they go above you. And so we went in between, and it helped a little bit. But
Were there times where you had to engage?
at different times, we'd have to fly different levels, and you, after, well, let's say the target was 40 miles or 50 miles away. Whenever you might vary a little bit, but whenever after you started on the bomb run, you went straight and you went,
Didn't you?
and that's when the flak had hit you usually.